by introducing Darius Anderson. Darius Anderson is a political strategist who has spearheaded a series of innovative ventures and private-public partnerships in the high-tech, real estate, and retail fields. Darius is the founder and CEO of Platinum Advisors, and he is a managing partner in ieSonoma Media Investments, which recently acquired Press Democrat. Darius.
Thank you very much. I want to say on behalf of everyone at the Press Democrat that we're very, very glad to be locally owned again. You're going to hear from some very esteemed folks today, and most of them are in the innovation looking forward. Some would say to me, Darius, that you bought a technology that is the 20th century, not the 21st century. And I couldn't disagree more, because what makes the Press Democrat, the Petaluma, the Sonoma newspapers, the Business Journal is not necessarily the paper that we're printed on, but the people that we have in the newsrooms. Because it's the ideas and the innovation that they go ahead and bring to coverage every day that makes them so special. So I want to shout out to anybody here, I think I saw Brad here, that helps us do our work and deliver the news every day. I'm a local product, and what's amazing is I am, for all of you teachers out there, I want to say, don't give up on the C student. And the D isn't bad either. Because I am the classic C student. I was happy to get C's. Being average for me was okay. And the fact that I'm dyslexic didn't allow me to go ahead and compete at the same level in the classroom. And it was before innovation, and it was before a lot of changes in the teaching of dyslexia. So I had to compete with those folks in the classroom that were much better academically or testing or whatever else. So I overcompensated, and I took my written skills and ran away from them, and I decided to become more verbal. And I played up the things that I was strong at. And I was an innovator in debate class and so forth. I overcompensated, and it wasn't until I got to Santa Rosa JC that an amazing teacher by the name of Bob Duxbury kicked me in the ass and said, Darius, you can't be one-sided. You got to understand that you're going to have to beef up a little bit in your writing and the rest that you do. And Bob Duxbury really changed my life, because he said to me that, education, I had to balance out who I was as a person, because if you looked at sort of my personal strengths, it was one side, half of a circle. It wasn't a full circle. And if you look at the way I now have had the great fortune, I like to tell the story that I went to Santa Rosa JC with one thing in mind, and that was to get to Berkeley, and I got rejected by Berkeley. And today I teach at Berkeley. It took me 4 years. It took me 4 years to become an adjunct professorship, because, as most of you know in teaching, PhD and master's folks don't want an average guy with average intelligence like me competing with them in the same classroom. So I had to go through utter hell to go ahead and get the title of adjunct professor, but I'm absolutely enjoying it. Let me just tell you from a teaching standpoint, as a non-teacher, as somebody that goes in every other semester, teaches 2-hour class, and then does an hour of office hours afterwards, there's 2 things that I think bring a difference from the teaching profession, and that is, one, passion. That, these kids, I look at, because the way that Berkeley structures their adjunct professor path is I had to co-teach with another professor. Then for the next 2 semesters, I had to be evaluated by a professor in the classroom. And it wasn't until the 4th semester that they finally allowed me to go ahead and teach on my own. And when I was there, I found that, folks had been doing it for 30, 40 years. absolutely amazing, some of the most intellectual people I found. But that passion thing, the ability to get up and to look into a child's eyes and to go ahead and get them inspired, and many of them have been gone. And so take a sabbatical, go out and do something different. I'm always pushing folks to go ahead, and I believe that you got to do one thing a week that makes you scared. Because that's how I built out my circle, is to go ahead and do things that are not my strength, that are not core to who I am as a person, to try to go ahead and beef up and be more well-rounded. The other thing I think that kids are starving, and I was amazed because everybody told me that, hey, when you do your office hours, you'll probably go ahead and get 15 minutes and then you're out of there. And my office hours last anywhere from an hour to an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minutes. And honestly, if I had 3 hours to give, the kids would take it. And you know what they're starved for coming out of college today is real world experience. The fact of the matter is that they know that just academics no longer make them competitive in the real world. And that they have to go ahead and they want to know, what goes on in Sacramento, what goes on in putting a business deal together, what happens in real world negotiations. How do you go ahead and use, money when you're not rich, when you don't have inheritance or, some other thing. My dad was a policeman, my mother was a nurse and then retired. So I didn't come from money. I put myself through Santa Rosa JC, and I apologize to some of you, I was a meter maid here in town. I was damn good at it, and I gave more tickets away than anybody else, and I was very proud at the time that I had accomplished that feat. I didn't get paid on bonus, though. It would have helped me through college if they had. So they asked me to go ahead and to talk a little bit about, I want to just go over things that, with regard to students and what I believe the next generation students should have. And that is, you should come up with curriculum that teach them how to deal with risk and failure. You're going to hear a lot of things up here, but I will tell you that when you're out there in the real world and you're making investments and you're living your life, it's how you deal with taking risks in the classroom and putting a curriculum together in a challenging the establishment, whatever else. It's how you deal with risk and failure, I think, is one of the key factors that goes ahead and makes entrepreneurs successful, that goes ahead and makes teachers successful, that makes innovators, political leaders, whatever else. The other thing, because my time's up, is, and it goes to what somebody said, my dad, being a cop, who then became a consultant, always said to me, Darius, be a Renaissance person, because the more well-rounded you are and the more conversations that you can have, the better off you're going to be in competing no matter what environment you go to. If I can go into an environment where I'm in a business negotiation and I know something about sports and I know something about art and I know something about the environment and I know something about technology, that I will have some common thread with that individual that I'm negotiating with that will bring it beyond just a business transaction and make it more personal. Because to me, the key to success in today's world, if you look at, high tech and innovation and all the rest, is communications. That no matter if you're the head of the PTA, if you're active in charity, if you're active in the classroom, if I'm selling, if I'm going out and raising money to buy the PD, I have to go ahead and communicate with those individuals that are going to be my investors. And I don't care what you do, if I had one thing to go ahead and say to you, is beef up communication skills. And I tell every person that works for me and anybody that comes, take public speaking, any place that you can get practice, sell Girl Scout cookies, Boy Scout cookies, magazines, whatever else. Go out and sell, because the rest of your life is going to be about communicating. It's going to be communicating with a boss, a superintendent, And especially if you're going to challenge the system, the way you organize your thoughts and the way you put things together and the way you communicate are going to be key to your success. So, thank you.